Welcome to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network with your hostess, Jen Josie. Join like-minded real estate investors and accelerate your business towards greatness. You will hear step-by-step strategies for success, interviews with real estate rock stars, and we will dig deep into past projects where we bear it all, including the good, the bad, and some just plain ugly. So get excited. Here's the bestower of badassery herself, the real Jen Josie. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Jen Josie, creator of RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Whoop, whoop. On today's episode, we have a guest that will be sharing their badassery. But before we begin, here's today's badassery bestowment, my little badass gift to you. Today's topic is important questions to ask a hard money lender. Rain Nation, hard money can be the fastest way to get a deal done or the fastest way to get yourself into a mess if you don't ask the right questions. Because here's the truth. The lender is basically your business partner for that project. And if you don't understand the rules, fees, timelines, and flexibility, you can end up stuck mid-rehab with a half-finished house and a full-blown panic attack. So before you sign anything, here are 5 questions you need to ask. Number 1, and my favorite, do you allow second positions? This one matters big time if you're stacking funding with private money. Ask, will you lend in first position only? Will you allow a private money lender in second position? Any restrictions on who holds the second position? And if they don't allow seconds, you need to know that before you've promised your private lender a lien position you can't deliver. Number 2, what are all the costs? Don't just ask the interest rate. Ask for a full fee list like points, underwriting, doc prep, draw fees, inspection fees, wire fees, extension fees, and, unfortunately, default fees. Then ask, what does a typical borrower pay from start to finish on a normal deal? Number 3, what is your draw process and timeline? This is where projects get bottlenecked. Ask, how do draws work? How fast do you fund after inspection? Who schedules the inspection? What days do you process draws? These questions are important because we do draws isn't the same as we do draws quickly. Number 4, what is your lending guidelines like loan to value, after repair value, rehab budget, and property types? Ask, do you lend on purchase and rehab? What's your max LTV and max ARV? Do you require experience? Do you lend on rural properties? That's a big one these days. Condos, new builds, or unique assets like log cabins. You want to know exactly what fits their box before you're under contract. And number 5, what happens if the project or selling it takes longer than expected? Because we're in some odd times for real estate, ask, how long is the term? What if I need 30 to 90 more days? What's the extension process and cost? Any prepayment penalties if I finish early? You're looking for a lender who has structure but isn't out there trying to profit off your delays. So, Rain Nation, here's the move. Treat your lender like a partner, not a vending machine. Ask the questions, get the answers in writing, and make sure their process matches how you actually run deals, especially if you're combining hard money with private money and need that second position flexibility. And if you're looking for funding, we've got you covered. We proudly partner with Alpha Funding for all your funding needs, whether you're flipping houses, building your rental portfolio, or scaling your badass real estate business. Alpha Funding understands investors and helps you move quickly with confidence. Be sure to check them out and let them know Jen Josie sent you. Now, on to today's episode of the Real Estate Investor Growth Network podcast. Today's guest is my new friend, Kim Fitzpatrick, short-term rental owner, entrepreneur, and force behind a streamlined property launch system that helps short-term rental owners get up and running fast. Kim's story started with just $40 in tools and a plane ticket. And from those humble beginnings, she built a precise, replicable 7-day setup process designed to launch short-term rental properties with speed, clarity, and consistency. Her company, Launched Host, helps owners go into virtually any U.S. market with any size property and get fully set up with reliable timelines, clear budgets, and pro forma numbers they can trust. What I love about Kim's story is that this wasn't built in theory, it was built out of necessity. As a short-term rental owner and single mom doing it on her own, she knows exactly how stressful the launch stage can be. So she created a system that's 8 times faster than DIY, focused on reducing risk, protecting the calendar, and helping owners turn properties into revenue-generating assets without the usual chaos. It's my pleasure to have her on the show, so welcome, Kim Fitzpatrick. Hello, friend.
Hi, it's so great to be here. I love it.
The audience is going crazy for you. Oh my goodness. We just started chatting. I'm like, oh, we are fast friends. Completely. You and I both taught in the middle school age level. Oh my goodness, which is, we are a rare breed. So I'm like, oh, we are besties now. So
We also both survived it.
we did. And we became alcoholics. No, I'm just kidding. We are a rare breed, I will tell you that. So Kim, I want to hear about the whole plane ticket with $40, all that, but what led you into getting into short-term rentals yourself?
Oh man, what led me into it? Honestly, I'd heard of this crazy thing called Airbnb, and as a single mom and a teacher, I was living in an apartment after my divorce, and I thought, man, if I could only Airbnb in my apartment, and of course, that's not a great idea. But it just had been mulling over in my head forever. And after my parents passed away, I had a little bit of inheritance that I chose to use to buy a home. And I wanted to put my kids in a good school because I understand, as you will know, the importance of their middle school career. And so I put them in the best middle school in the district, which meant I couldn't afford housing. So I had planned to buy a house and Airbnb one of the rooms in the house. And I'm a real OG Airbnb person. They came in the same front door as me and my kids. They slept on an air mattress until I could afford a real mattress.
Oh my goodness. Well, a lot of people, I don't think even know that story. What was it, 2007? And it was California, was it?
Yeah, that's where I heard what Airbnb was. And I was like, oh, I could do an air mattress. I have an extra room in my house. So my kids were younger. They were in elementary and middle school, and they shared the second biggest bedroom in the home. I took the smallest bedroom in the home, and the guests took the primary. And that way they would have their own bathroom. And I got the joy of sharing a bathroom with my 2 young boys.
Oh my goodness. All right. Wow. That is a way to get into it. So your story starts with $40 in tools and a plane ticket, which is pretty badass, I got to tell you, Kim. So take us back. What was going on during that time?
Yeah, so I was setting up my own properties by myself during spring break or Christmas break, and I would only have that 1 week time slot where my kids would be with their dad and I would have a school break. And so the fact that those things would line up were happening so infrequently that I had to get it done. I had no other choice, and I couldn't afford to be paying the mortgage month after month after month. And so when you have no other alternatives, you just make it happen. And that's what I did. And people took notice and they were like, 1 week? And I was like, yeah, how long do you need? And they were like, 3 months. I'm like, what? 3 months? What? And people, but I knew it just would take a long time. They would go on weekends and then they would skip weekends and they would just do it when they could. Oh,
Yep. I just
and
finished setting up one. So, and I did it over a couple weekends, but we had renovations that we had to do as well. But anyway, yes, I get it.
yeah, so I was just like, I could not afford that when I started. So I had the 7-day timeline and word spread because it was a shocking timeline. And then somebody said, can you help me? And I said, Sure. And so I got on a plane, went across the United States with my tool bag, and went to work. And that's where Launched Host was born.
Wow. So what happens in those 7 days?
Oh Lord. Well, assuming 7 days, that means that all of the items are on site, usually in a massive pile in the garage or in the main living space. And I honestly just start like opening boxes. Just find a box, figure out what it is, figure out where it goes. And that's how I started. But now we have really strong systems in place where I beat my head against the wall saying, put the rug down first. Because if you assemble a king bed and put a mattress on it, and then you have to lift it to jam a rug underneath it, oh Lord, there's like 12 legs under a king bed. It's not
Yes.
just the four corners. So getting a rug under there, if you just kick it out in an open room, it's a 5-minute task with one person. If you're jamming it under like an L-shaped sofa or a king bed, it is now a sweaty half-hour task with three people. So
Absolutely. Now, do you order furniture for them, or is the owner ordering the furniture? How does all that work?
We have a variety. We call it like an a la carte menu, just to try to keep it in the budget and as much hands-on or hands-off as our clients want. But we do have the 7-day install, and before that, we can receive all of the package for the client. Before that, we can do the purchasing, and before that, we can do the design. So there are 4 phases,
Okay.
and people, more and more people are getting the all in because they see the value and they see how chaotic each step really is, and they want none of it. They want to show up and host their guests and do that. Because here's the thing, when you are doing like a cost segregation study and your time matters, your time going out to restaurants is an equal amount of time as your time carrying the pool table down to the basement.
All right.
So why don't you hire out us to carry the pool table and you go out to the local restaurants and attractions?
I
I
like
mean,
that. Well,
right?
so I just bought this condo and it came furnished. Not the greatest furniture. So is that common when people are just getting into this industry? They're hiring you. Maybe there's already furniture there, and you're like, no, that's not going to work. So how does that conversation go?
Yeah, we have those conversations a lot. If I can catch it, often I can advise on if people should keep the furniture when they buy the property or if they should make the seller take it off. And as you probably discovered, it's hard to get all the furniture out of a property that doesn't look like the photos,
Right.
doesn't is rickety and doesn't hold up like the photos. So we often advise people to start with a clean slate and really get ROI on the design and really go all in. However, sometimes there's good quality pieces that you wouldn't get rid of. So
Okay.
if we're designing, we'll work with what they have and we advise on what to keep and what to toss.
Because we did have a nice king bedroom set of furniture. That's about the only thing that we kept. Maybe some kitchen items, but yeah, I most of it we did have to replace. It's a beach property and they had cloth sofas and just thinking of wet bathing suits sitting on. So we did pleather, but it's very durable and things like that. They had carpet, like gross carpet in the bedroom, so we redid that. But instead of a underneath the king bed, we do runners. Is that a no
Mm.
no or is that okay?
No,
Okay.
that's a great idea. Honestly, it's the no rugs that bother me the most because if you have just even a little bit of sand on your feet,
And getting in
I
bed.
yeah, I want to get that sand off. So I think a runner is a great idea.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Thank you for
You're
clarifying
good.
that. So I was snooping around your website and your designs are gorgeous. And some of them had like some look kind of mural-ish. Like I think it was your mountain one. Do you hire muralists to come in and do things?
Yes, sometimes we hire muralists as a part of the design process. Sometimes we hang wallpaper murals,
Ooh.
and sometimes we hire out wallpaper. We do a variety of things because we go so many different places and work with so many different clients.
And also your website, you have a whole list. I coach students Monday through Wednesday, and I have some that do short-term rentals. And I have a list myself, but I was snooping, excuse me, through your list that you have on there. And so smart that you do that and show people, like down to spatulas, whatever it is. It's just a very extensive list. So thank you. First, I just wanted to say thank you for having that, because people don't think about those things. They don't think to have cookie sheets or like a roll of tinfoil sometimes, and just what is super helpful for guests. Anything on there that people find surprising? I'm just curious.
Nobody has told me anything super surprising, but I will say there are times when somebody might be complaining about a curtain rod or a TV mount, and we say, "Hey, go to our list. These are tried and true. We've handled them ourselves. We've installed them ourselves. These are the things we trust and we know and we like, and these are the things that we buy when we are setting up properties." So we just want to help people have the greatest success possible. It's so hard. Why make every step hard when you
Right.
can make some parts easy?
Absolutely. We also used to own a quad that was a historic it was a historic home, and we furnished it all in a weekend, really. And everything was from Wayfair, came in boxes. And so I literally put on Facebook, "Hey, anyone want to hang?" Because again, like I coach, so people in the area wanted to hang and like pick my brain about things. I'm like, don't ask me to coffee, but hey, come this weekend and help me put some beds together and hang some curtains. So they came and did it, and it was just this huge undertaking. So I think systems are so very important. And you say your process is 8 times faster than DIY. So where does that time savings actually come from?
Often it's not anything revolutionary. It is saving 5 minutes over 1,000 tasks. It's amazing how you can whittle away your time. And I've seen it several different ways where we've had really good quality, brand new installers on jobs, and they're working hard and they're excellent. But when you're brand new, you just have to kind of learn the rhythm of things, and it takes 5 minutes longer, 5 minutes longer, 5 minutes longer, and all of a sudden we're working well into the middle of the night. Whereas my experienced installers, they'll see a box and they'll be like, "I'm putting that together. I've done it before. I already know what it looks like. I don't even need the directions." And it's like,
Ah,
yeah, let's get it. Let's do it.
where do you get most of your furniture from?
We do use a lot of Wayfair, a lot of Host GPO brands,
Oh, okay.
Minoan, the standard vendors that everyone uses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where did I want to go with that? Oh, I know. I want to get into budget here in a second, but do you see like newer owners mistakes that they make when they're trying to launch without using someone like you for their services? What are some mistakes that newbies do?
It's hard to see what they do if they don't use me because I'm not there. But one thing I would give a recommendation for a new owner is you don't have to do all the things at the very beginning. So people will
Okay.
be like, the coffee bar, the waffle bar, I have all of the games, all of the amenities everywhere. And if you have not vetted your housekeepers to know that they're going to check your ping pong paddles and your pool balls and all of your outdoor cornhole bags, as well as your coffee bar and all of your bathroom amenities, you can easily overwhelm even good quality housekeepers by not having a system for them, and then just giving them a huge project and then being shocked at the price that it takes to go through and make sure everything is set up for the next.
I love that you said that, because I will stay at my own short-term rentals and see what would I need more, what's needed. Like we were excuse me, we were staying at our beach place and there were no chip clips. So I was like, add chip clips. And the coasters, there's only like 3 coasters, like things like that. So you absolutely can add those. And by the way, when you're doing these properties across country, you're not staying in hotels. Are you staying in the properties? How does that work?
Yes, we stay in the property. When we see the mountain of boxes, we start looking for the mattresses. We know what those boxes look like. We have few key things that we look for. The mattress box, we yard that out. We claim our room and we take our mattress and plop it on the floor. And then we start looking for pillows and blankets. And that is night one. And we all celebrate when we find the coffee maker. The coffee maker, because we got to get that going tonight. So the first thing in the morning, after we've camped in this house, we have coffee. So those that's what we look for first. And then day two is like that first morning that we wake up. That's really the start of day one.
Gotcha. And coffee makers, while we're talking about, do you do the Keurigs or do you do drip coffees?
Mostly the properties are drip and Keurig.
Oh, okay.
And they're almost all of them are drip because my team tends to do bigger properties where if you had a one bedroom little condo, you might just do a Keurig because
Good
people
point.
don't need a whole pot. But
Yeah.
because these houses often sleep 15 or more, it's usually at least a pot and maybe another one.
See, I like smaller properties for quicker turnovers and between guests. I can't imagine setting up. Well, I did do a quad, but that was only 5 bedrooms. Whew. And I discovered because I do the drip as well. Well, I had people complaining with the Keurigs because of the plastic and it's excessive. I'm like, oh, come on, granolas. But I did find the ones that are caraffeless that I actually really like because those carafes and coffee makers are the quick first thing to break. So
Yeah.
the ones where you can push in there, but of course you have to give directions because they're like, how do I work this? This is broken. No, it's not. All right, budget. I do want to get to budget. I knew, Kim, we were going to get so distracted during this, but budget here. So one of the biggest stressors is keeping owners on budget. So how do you do this without sacrificing quality?
What we do is we know, like if we're talking about in the design process, we know the good quality furnishings that come in at the right price because we're assembling them all. And I will talk to our design team and I'll say, this thing is kind of garbage. Let's not do that anymore. Or it's difficult to install or something doesn't feel right about it. And other things are like, this went together really well. This feels way sturdier than the price. We need to keep ordering these things. We find manufacturers that just do a good job of packaging their things so they don't come broken or dented. And we find manufacturers that just slop their things in a box and it rattles its whole way. And I used to say, like, I wouldn't buy Target delivery. I will go to Target and pick things up before delivery because they used to throw a lamp in a box and and it would just flop all around and the lampshade is ruined by the time it gets to us. I will say they've gotten better. So they're not on my hit list anymore. You can have Target deliver things, but when they first started doing delivery, it was not good. So yeah, we advise the designers on what is working and what is terrible so that we're just getting better and refining the processes constantly.
All right. So you are based out of Oregon, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
kind of. I say I'm based out of the
Based
client's
there.
house. So technically, my home is Oregon, but I have been there 8 days in the last 2 years.
So
So,
you really go from house to house or property to property. That is so cool. So speaking of that, are there any markets that you think are a little tougher for this for short-term rentals than others? Ooh, I love that you're nodding. Let's get into this.
well, what in my perspective as an installer or as like,
Everything. Tell me
okay,
everything,
so
Kim.
because we are in and out in a week, I don't always know revenue numbers and how things go, but I will say the place I'm least excited to go back to after building like after assembling like 5 houses worth is Newry and Bethel, Maine.
Ooh.
It's so difficult. The people there have not it's a small town. People charge way too much to come in and help and their skills are not great and they I just haven't found a lot of great resources in that
Huh.
area after being there a number of times. And so I don't prefer to go back there as an installer. I know I have to bring an entire full team and it's expensive for us to get there. So that's a difficult one for us to install in. Other places that might be difficult are places that are highly amenitized, and we call it like the
Ooh.
amenities arms race, where it's like, oh, you have a pickleball. Well, now I have a pickleball and a splash pad. Well, now I have a pickleball, a splash pad, and a play
The
structure.
little sauna and the, all those things. Yes.
Yeah, it's just like this one upping, and I feel like those areas That might be difficult for newbies to get into just
Mm,
because of how developed they are, would be like Orlando by Disney World, Bradenton, Florida, and Scottsdale. Not that you
Scottsdale,
can't
yes.
make a lot of money, but you really have to be on your A game. So I wouldn't necessarily lead a first timer there unless they were like, let's go, I'm dialed.
Well, Kim, thank you for saying that because I say this to students all the time. They'll say, "Oh, I just go on AirDNA. I see what areas make the most money, who has the highest average daily rates. That's where I'm going to go buy." And I'm like, "Hello, everybody's looking at the same information. It's so much better to be a little off the beaten path. And then that way you stand out to really bring it." So, Kim, thank you for saying that because that's been just one of my biggest battles. And I hear gurus saying it all the time. So that's huge. And by the way, going back to your team travel, does your team travel with you everywhere or do you hire people in certain areas for things?
I have everybody is 1099 that works for me. So
Okay.
they are hired for the project and then we hire them back for the next and the next. So they're, if I say, hey, would you like to come to this? And it doesn't work for their schedule, then I ask them on the next
Okay.
time and the next time. But so it's a different shuffle of the team, but we have a team of about 32 people right now. So we don't take them all to every project. Yeah.
Good for you, Kim. Oh my gosh, you are such a badass. So, what about the person who's stuck in traffic right now on their way to work and they really want to get into short-term rentals? Uh, what should they know before this launch stage? So, what are some things that are so important for short-term rentals to have? Like, for example, a owner's closet, or I don't like the term maid, but there's some a maid's closet, or we'll call it supply closet, something that can be locked to keep guests out of. What other things are really important when people are shopping for short-term rentals?
I think it's really important to have a coded lock on the front
Mm,
door. I think
huge.
my preference is the Schleg. That's how I pronounce it.
Schleg.
Schleg, Schlag. I've heard a lot of
I say
pronunciations. If you
schleg.
feel like you have a mouthful of food, you're saying it
Was
right.
it encore? What is it? Schleg.
Encode, yeah.
Encode. That's it. Yes, they're the
Yeah.
best.
Those are the ones we see the most and we like the most. They're not without problems. They don't, nothing is going to work as well if it's below 10 degree, like 10 degrees below zero, or if
Mm-hmm.
it's really high humidity. But I like them. But any coded lock that you also have Wi-Fi access to.
Yes.
Um, but honestly, here's another thing I would say that kind of gets me is if you are in a market that is not doesn't traditionally have air conditioning, like I'm thinking I have a Montana property and all the locals are like, you don't need air conditioning. It didn't come with it. My July guests absolutely are expecting air conditioning. They're not locals. They're coming from other parts of the country where air conditioning is just standard. And I would say if you're buying in a location that doesn't have air conditioning standard, you might consider putting that in if you're trying to get top dollar for your rentals, especially in the summer.
Yes. So I actually have a mountain cabin and it's up a mountain. So it's typically 10 to 20 degrees cooler regardless. And this girl sleeps hot. I am menopausal. So I need some air conditioning, and we put a window unit at least in the bedroom to do that. But we do let people know that there is no air conditioning in it because I remember going to the Grand Canyon and I was like, "Where is the AC in this joint?" Because it was not in any of the hotels there. So yes, very very good point. All right, so what is one oh my goodness, where are we? I could talk to you all day. I just was checking time here. So what is a launch stage mistake that can quickly and quietly kill revenue before the listing even starts getting that momentum?
Mm.
Mm,
There's so many, but the one that comes to mind first is over renovating.
yes.
Just doing all the things that you would want in your personal home and sparing no expense. There has to be an ROI connected to everything that you're doing. Otherwise, you're spending money that you may not get a return on ever. And that's a scary thought,
Give,
especially if
give an
you
example.
Oh boy, perfectly good kitchen cabinets, but you just want high end. And
Okay.
you rip out perfectly good kitchen cabinets. I think it's probably better if they're good functioning, just to paint them the color that makes sense
Yeah.
and keep good functioning kitchen cabinets, good functioning bathrooms. Maybe change the faucets, but don't change a bathroom layout because you're going to get into it's going to take a long time. It's going to be a lot of expense, and you're not going to see a revenue change on a typical bathroom layout change where you're moving plumbing and electrical and all of that.
And it is a vacation and you want people to experience new and fun things, but I agree, do not go over the top. So I do have a question on sleep count. So there are some big no-nos with short-term rentals. For example, if you have a two-bedroom house but it sleeps 15. What? You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Why? Do you do a lot of bunk beds? Is that a something that you I can't stand bunk beds, but first of all, you and I are both former teachers, so I developed an allergy towards children, so I don't want to promote bunk beds. And my I know my cleaners can't stand making the beds on bunk beds, but what and I get the thought process because it does help with the algorithms, like, oh, there's 15 people travel, and then they pull up your listing and it's like, oh, it only has two bedrooms, but at least you're getting more eyeballs on it, so it does help with that whole algorithm. But anyway, tell me your thoughts on this, Kim.
I really struggle with the bunk bed thing too. We talk it is a hot topic of conversation when we are installing. And I do see sometimes it's valuable when you're bringing lots of family, lots of children, all the cousins are going in the bunk rooms. But I also think when you are putting two queen over queen bunk beds in one room, are we really sleeping that many people, that many adults in one room? Like, I don't plan to sleep in a bunk bed with somebody when there are two people above me and four more people in the, like,
Yes.
that's not a five-star experience in
Thank
my
you.
perspective. It's not saying we don't do it, but one thing I really love is one of the designers that when people have us do all in design through install, we source design through Paige Hayes and Hayes and Co. And she's amazing.
Ooh,
And I
yes.
know. So look her up if you're listening.
Paige,
But
be on my podcast.
oh yes,
We
she's
got to get
so
her on.
great. She
She
is so
is.
great. But she will do twin day beds. So like a king bed in a room with a twin day bed that might have a trundle. I would sleep in a twin trundle over a top bunk any
Yes.
day.
Yes.
And I think your cleaners are going to like it more and it's going to cost less. And there's less safety things to go wrong on the floor versus up in the air.
Yes. And also dining, because if it's a two bedroom and you sleep 10, I said 15 before, but you have to have 10 places. Is it around a table, or can you have four at a kitchen counter and six at a like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that it's really important to seat as many people as you sleep for
Yes.
dining. And
And
also
watching
that goes,
TV.
yes, for watching TV. And while when you have maybe 22 in a house, not everybody's going to watch the same show. I get that. But they're going to try to eat at the same time or approximately the same time. So I think it's really important to have a lot of flexible seating in the entertainment areas or have multiple. Maybe you have two living rooms that have TVs. So they can be in two spots. If you're going to host corporate events, you have to have everybody in the main area seating all at once. We did this great Kentucky install really recently, 10 bedrooms,
Oof.
10, 10,000 square feet. The living room had four couches, four chairs, and two dining tables were back in the back. I mean, it had so much seating, but that way everyone can gather in that main area, listen to a presenter. It's really important for getting the highest nightly rate you can get.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, very well said. So, what kind of mindset shift do you think that owners need if they want to not it if they don't want it to be just like a side hustle and actually turn their short-term rental into an actual business? What does that mindset shift look like to you?
I think who, not how. I think not doing it all yourself is critical. Finding people that are really good at one area and off tasking that to somebody that's really good. For me, I don't like numbers and revenue management. I don't want to tweak it every day. I just don't. So I have a revenue manager that manages my pricing, and by managing my pricing really, really well, I stay occupied just naturally. So
Nice.
that's a huge lift for me is having my revenue managed by somebody who really gets it and is in there all the time, tweaking, making sure it's set correctly. And then secondly, automating everything you can. We are in the AI world.
Yes.
Let's use it. I have automated email or like messages that go out to
Yep.
my guests that sound so friendly and so like my real voice that people respond to them thinking I have sent the message. And the way they respond, I'm like, I know they think I just sent this, but it goes out every Thursday night, and it's a wonder. It does great for being able to help me take my hands off the wheel and pursue other things.
And Kim, I have been in the short-term rental business for 8 years now, goodness. And I just started, I had automations, but I just upped that game recently. And oh my goodness, huge difference. A lot of times you get the questions on what type of coffee maker do you have? Do I need to bring that? And then, so I am already saying everything prior to them. And so, yes, thank you for saying that because that's huge. So your company, who's the service a best fit for? Like, who are you looking for, listeners out there right now?
I think the people that benefit the most from us have honestly done this once and gone, oh Lord, this is so hard. I don't ever want to do that again. I love my spouse and I want to stay married to them. So we can't be fighting during an install over how this piece of furniture is assembled. So they've done it once before. They also probably have young children, so it makes it harder for them to do it and have that time and that bandwidth to be able to do it. And they're probably high income W-2 earners
Mm-hmm.
where their time is best spent focusing on the job that's making them a ton of money instead of taking time off of that work to come learn a whole new skill and a whole new everything.
And I think Launched Host would be perfect for an investor that lives out of state, like not in the location of where it is, too, because I have a guy up in New Jersey who just bought a property in Myrtle Beach, and he drove down to go do, but of course his wife wanted to spend time on the beach, so it was a little mini vacation. But I think that would also be an ideal person. So for the
Yep.
listeners, for all of my Rain Nation out there, how can they learn more about your business and how can they get in touch with you?
So I post all the crazy, wacky things that go on during installs on Facebook, and then that sends it over to Instagram. So it's
I'm
all
the
on
same way. I'm like Facebook, whatever Instagram catches.
just send it there. But then sometimes I get on Instagram and I do a lot of funny memes there
Okay.
that relate very strongly to jokes that happen. So, but Facebook is a great place to like search me up by my first and last name, Kim Fitzpatrick, and then you can DM me. I check those DMs better than I do the Instagram ones. We also have you can schedule a call with me on the website launchedhost.com. But yeah, I love talking to people, helping them. I love when they say, I've watched all your episodes. And I'm like, episodes, that's so funny. Because it's a little like reality TV out here. I'm not going to lie.
Oh my goodness. Kim, this has been such a fun interview. I want to move to the second part of the podcast here, which is what makes Kim Fitzpatrick a badass, which you truly are. And I use the acronym badass, and the first letter is B for book. What is a book that's made a huge difference in your life?
Well, I reckon I referenced Who Not How, but that's not the one
That's
that
a
I'm
good one.
really thinking, even though it's good. The one that really helped me in my business was Million Dollar Offers by
Hmm.
Alex Hormozy. And it taught me to shape the way I discuss what I am offering to people. And he basically says, make them an offer so good they can't say no. And I think that would apply to the way we talk about our properties as well.
So when did you quit teaching, by the way?
4 school years ago.
Oh my god. Did you do national board certification by any chance? No.
What?
Oh,
I have a master's in
oh,
teaching.
master's. Okay. So I didn't
Yeah.
get a master's, but I did the national board certification and I ended up quitting. Because it lasts for 10 years, you get like an increase in pay. And I ended up quitting like with 4 more years left on it. I just couldn't do it anymore. So goodness. And you taught for 17 years?
17 years. Yes, I called and said I would like to quit. And they said, "Do you want to quit or do you want to retire?" And I said, "Oh, I guess I'll retire." And then they looked at my record and they're like, "Well, you're too young to retire." And I'm like, "Okay, then I quit." Uh,
Was not the best. Okay. All
yeah.
right. Moving on here. The first A in badass is for advice. You've given great advice to our listeners, but I'm curious, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received, Kim?
Oh boy, there's so much good stuff, but the one that comes to mind is one that I shared with a friend that's going through a difficult time with a business associate. And I think a lot of times we get into these business partnerships thinking that's going to make things easier. And that's a whole nother podcast.
Yes, it is.
But I would say that you can't fight an illogical person with logic. So if you are ever getting into a time where somebody's emotionally spun up and you're trying to fight them with logic, you're just not gonna, it's not gonna work.
Nope.
So I know that has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but man, it's stuck with me forever. So.
Yes. And gosh, partnerships, and you nailed it on the head. People think, oh, it's going to make my life easier if I have someone to do this with. Oh, gosh, that's like half my coaching calls is telling people do not get into partnerships. All right.
Yeah.
The D in badass is for drive. What drives you to be successful?
That is such a hard question to answer because there's just something inside of me that is just determined. Status quo is not good enough. If I can be the best, why wouldn't I aim for that? Like I can't
Right.
wrap my brain around choosing to fall short of being the best. So I can't explain it, but there's something inside of me that is the way I am hardwired.
I love that. And by the way, this is, like I said, I want to talk to you all day. Another random question. Of all the places where you have traveled to set up properties, have you ever said, I love this area and maybe bought one yourself or maybe are going to buy? Like, what's your favorite area that you're like, yes, I get to set up one there?
I always love the desert. And it's
Oh,
probably because that's where I don't own a home. I love the cold nights. I love the stars. I love the hot days and the sunshine. I love the desert.
oh, very cool. All right. The second A in badass is for aspiration. I'm a big goal setter. So, what is a goal you are currently working on?
We have a several pronged goal for Launched Host for the business, and that is to get raving 5-star reviews from our install clients and to do that by having the systems and the outcomes that are the best in the industry.
Nice. Well, from what I've heard about you, girl, you are well on your way to doing that. So awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. The first S in badass is for systems. I know you're a systems girl, but what systems do you have in place to help you achieve success?
So this is a really interesting one. We actually create an inefficient system on purpose. I know. Hear me out. We still finish in 7 days, but if we had planned everything down to the minute, and you are perfectly efficient, if something goes wrong on day 2, minute 10, it ruins the rest of the
Oh,
system. So we actually plan in things are going to go wrong. We don't know what they are, but it's going to show up and it's going to go wrong. And we set aside time for that. And we actually block time so that when chaos strikes, we're like, oh, there you are. We were expecting you. Come have a seat right here where we planned for you. And we will carry on. And that's how we get everything done on time all the time.
that is an excellent system. I definitely need to adapt that. So I'm assuming maybe a headboard shows up and it's broken or something. How do you like, is that a typical situation and how would you fix something like that?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of interesting repairs that we do. I don't have clamps, but we have used zip ties as clamps before with a little wood glue and some zip ties, and we can clamp a lot of stuff. But yeah, we sometimes I hate to say it, we have to be photo ready and not guest ready
Ah,
because we've had a broken headboard that wouldn't hold weight. but it will be presentable in photos. And then we document everything that needs to be done for when the replacement headboard gets there, how to, get it installed with the rest of the bed, and whatnot. So, yes.
We were talking about the king size beds, and it's not just the four corners. There's those ones in the middle, and those ones in the middle are the first ones to break too if you're moving it around all the time. So
Yep.
we got the the LVP flooring in there, and we were moving around, and each one of those damn ones broke. And so here's me, I'm like glue, and then I like had something just the right height to hold it there because we had it propped up, and I ended up going to get the little T-bars, and so now that is not going anywhere. Those things are in there for good. So I do feel your pain on that. Mm-hmm. All right, Kim, I have really been enjoying talking to you, but the final S in badass is for success. What does success mean to Kim Fitzpatrick?
Success to me would be that despite all of the worldly success, I still can maintain excellent relationships with the people that matter the most. My kids, my sisters, my friends and family. If I have to give all of that up to just have like monetary or business success, that wouldn't look successful to me at all. So I want to be successful in business and be a good human all along the way.
I didn't think I could like you anymore, Kim. I am truly appreciative that you came on the show today. So Kim, thank you so much for being here. And one more time, how do the listeners find you?
Kim Fitzpatrick on Facebook, Launched Host on Instagram, or launchedhost.com on the internet.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Kim.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And that is all. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you on the next episode. Now go out there and share your badassery. And don't forget, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye. Whoop, whoop.
Thank you for listening to RAIN, the Real Estate Investor Growth Network. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. If you need more badassery, you can follow Jen Josie by visiting therealjenjosie.com or become a member of RAIN by registering on rainmastermind.com.